This episode has been brought to you by Subject to Change Customs. Choose Subject to Change for all your custom apparel and promotional product needs. Follow them on all social media at S2C LLC and get your 4 times dope merch on their website. That's www.shopS2C.com.
Yeah, we in the building. 4 times dope. Yeah, we known to get it live, man. 4 times dope. New level, keep it high, yeah. 4 times dope. Mic check, now we on it, we live.
What's up, everybody? We're back. Season 17. What's season 4?
Season 4, yeah. Minus 13 of us.
Dope podcast is back. This is season 4, and this is episode 34. Fellas,
What you drinking a yak, are you?
Kwame and Jermaine, myself is Jamie. We've been gone for a minute, guys. We got to catch up. Sean,
Absolutely.
What you been up to?
Bruh.
When we start 20 years of marriage, you took the family to Mexico?
Yeah.
Damn.
20 years, man.
Do you remember any of them?
20 years. I don't, actually.
Exactly.
I don't. It don't feel like 20. But that's a good thing, though. When
That's
it don't feel
right.
like as long as it's been. That's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's been my summer. Like, we've been rocking and rolling. Like, since school get out, we've been on the move from Florida to North Carolina to Mexico. Like, we've been on it. So yeah, that's pretty much been my summer for the most part. Just traveling with the kids, being out of school and celebrating the 20th anniversary. That was dope.
Mhm.
To get away, some friends and family. And only the one downside to the whole summer was I caught COVID. Was not expecting that, but went on. Who does expect that? But
Who did it? I mean, come on now.
Right.
Come on now.
yeah, but other than that, like it's been a good summer. It's been a
That's
good summer. I cannot complain at all.
All right. That's good to know. Kwame, you just got back to town. You were down here in my neck of the woods. You celebrate your dad's state championship season. What else is going on with you?
Yeah, I'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, just but just in regards of so we started record was like April, May, something like that. We took, a little break. We went down to Baton Rouge in May. Like I said, I didn't see, at least Kelly's side of the family since the beginning of COVID. So yes, about 2 years at that point. So it was good to shoot down there.
Yeah.
I always have a good time, even if I'm not doing nothing, just chilling, lounging. It's like slow back, good food, all that.
Being in the country, baby.
Yeah, man. It's good to get in and out every once in a while. And then then I went to Hershey Park in July. That was cool. That was my first time there. But it was, an overnight trip. And then really we did a road trip. We went the family, we did a road trip, went up to Connecticut for like a day, or New Haven. So that was my first time being that far north on the East Coast as far as that goes. So that was cool with Connecticut, New Haven. So we went to saw Yale University, and that reminds me of the older and bigger Duke basically orchestra, the architecture and everything looked very similar. And then we went to Boston, which that was a good.
Is that the furthest you've been north?
Yes, yeah. So that was cool. Yep, and so we actually drove there, so we didn't fly or nothing. So it wasn't. We broke it up. Like, so we went one day in Connecticut, which was like a 4-hour drive from where we at, and then we added another 2 hours to get to Boston from there. Like the following day, we were there for a couple of days. We drove back. So man, it was definitely cool.
Is it worth going?
Oh yeah, Boston was cool. Boston reminds me of a smaller Chicago,
Philly, right? Okay. I said a dirtier Philly.
No, actually opposite. The cleaner Philly. It was pretty clean from what I've seen. I'm sure they got like the other parts, but like downtown and some of the areas. So I think like some of the architecture and stuff. Of course, a small Chicago, but then I think the history part you see, like that part remind you, of Philadelphia when you see some of those things like
Right.
Benjamin Franklin and all that kind of stuff. But then you see everything in Boston, they had first started there. So first public park, I can't think of the name of it right now, but it was cool, man. It was really.
Did you guys get a chance to see Stephen King's house or something like that? I think his house is on display there or something.
No, I didn't see that. I did went to Harvard. That was again.
Harvard.
So I see all these Ivy League schools, and one of Kelly's, one of her old co-workers actually in a master program up there. So he's about to finish up. So we met with them.
Harvard or BC?
Harvard. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Cool dude.
Harvard.
Harvard. Yeah, it was a nice campus too as well. And then we kind of of course we had to climb Chowder and all that, so that was cool.
Right.
We saw the town skinniest house, and it was cool. Different parts of the city, but it was easy to get around. It was real nice.
Right.
Okay. Maine, I see you got something around your chest there, something around your neck.
Yeah, man. So this is oh man, when did we do this 5K? We did it in Virginia. When was this one, guys?
It was
It was in the spring.
Spring. But I just got the package. I ain't gonna front. I registered late, so I guess my stuff came late. But it's dope. I like it though. It's the race was good. You guys know what is this, Jamie? This is a t-shirt. So the race wasn't at Howard this year.
Okay, HBCUs run the district shirt.
Yeah, it was out in Springfield, Virginia. I can't think of the complex name right now, but the complex is owned by some brothers, black men. And it was dope. But since the last time we recorded, I've kind of just been chilling too. I've been working a lot. I did take a break. My first break and first vacation I took in a while was to Mexico with Cacharo. To celebrate with my fam down there. Outside of that, I spent a lot of time with my mother down in North Carolina, back and forth. I was invited to Barton College and the Wilson County Library not long ago to do this lecture on Black codes and implicit bias and all that. That was pretty cool. I did some indoor skydiving too a couple times this summer.
Is that in Rayford?
No, actually, you're right. You do have one in Rayford. There's one out in Montgomery County.
Okay.
I fly indoor skydiving. Yeah, I fly. So I did that. And other than that, man, honestly, I just did some swimming, did a lot of swimming, did more swimming this summer. And more sitting in the sauna. But other than that, man, I just been chilling, be honest, making no noise, just chilling and getting used to being back on campus face to face where some folks don't have a mask on. So but yeah, other than that, that's it, man. Just chilling.
That's good to know. That's good to know, guys.
Jamie?
Yeah, what about you, man?
I'm in this flipped house. We just renovated the whole thing.
Flipped.
This is our office. It used to be my closet. Now it's our dedicated office. We're still. We took Madison on our first plane trip to Orlando for the AKA Boule. We vended there, and then the next week we were in Charlotte vending at the Omega Conclave. So my wife and I am on a whirlwind. We're just really trying to settle down. And guess what? This weekend we gotta go right back to Charlotte for the UNCF event, Maya Angelou dinner. They're asking vendors there, so we're gonna be there vending with Beth Couture. It's my wife's clothing line. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right.
That's what's up.
How's that going for?
It's going really well. She's really found a new niche, trying to dress women high class for them deserve attention, quality attention. Right. And the area of expertise is having them come by the office and having a sit down with us, private shopping is, most women want that attention, and this is an opportunity for them to come by and see all these pieces that we have there and pick them out. You get, I think, some time with them, maybe an hour or so, and you get the private shopping experience. So we're really pushing more energy into that, and of course, with subject to change, we getting ready for the fall. Of course, homecoming season, man. So it's just us trying to get this money.
Right, absolutely.
How far in advance do you have to schedule like a private shopping?
Go on the website, bethmarketour.com, and just click on the buttons.
Mm.
It's not complicated. You go up there. I mean, if you're in the area, we're in Raleigh. So if you're in Raleigh, look at bethmarketour.com, and that's a shameless plug. Please be clear.
Yeah, yeah.
Shameless plug. Please come
Do it
by.
2 more times. Make sure they get it.
Certainly, bethmarketour.com. You can find us on all social media platforms.
Well, man, is there a certain audience, a certain like woman that is targeted to? Like,
Yes, a woman that's a working woman in the field who's looking to stand out. Uh, None of our pieces are basic. They are extra, just like my wife, just like a
oh man, so is it
yeah,
is it targeted to like all like far as size goes, like petite
yeah.
women, thick women, so that
We'll go small to 2XL and a lot of pieces. It's the
oh
same run, so it's not a lot of each piece. So
Mhm.
curate piece, maybe two sizes of each size, so small to 2X. We may have two of each, so we're not gonna have a lot of one thing. However, we do have this butterfly dress that everybody loves, and it's on the website.
got you. Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
Anything else eventful happened by besides what we said?
man.
Already.
We've just been traveling, trying to get this
Hmm.
company, going. This third company going. Along with hiring folks, she just hired a new employee today, so it's a lot. It does just trying to get back into the saddle of what we call the normalcy, right? Trying to get it back, normalcy of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, speaking to what you was talking about to say earlier, Jamie. Yeah, I
Mhm.
did. Had a good experience this past weekend. Um, I went down to North Carolina, Wake Forest specifically, to watch my dad's state football team get to Wake Forest, Hall of
The
yeah,
city awake,
sports Hall of Fame, huh?
the city awake,
The town of Wake
sports
Forest.
hall of fame.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
down, and it was crazy because like so, my dad, I didn't even know anything about it until like Thursday. And he
Hmm.
happened to call, and he was just like, "Yeah, I just thought about it because I'm not gonna go to it, and I thought maybe if you had nothing going on, if you want, kind of pretty much if I want to come down, I don't think he really asked, but I guess he was trying to figure out what I had going on my schedule.
Uh-huh.
I was like, yeah, I can shoot down. I mean, and then so but it was cool. He ended up going, but like I said, I think me coming down there, I get an extra push, I guess, to go. But my dad, he don't, like to be around a lot of people, a lot of attention,
Hmm.
all that kind of stuff. So,
Right.
so it's just more. He needed a little push, but it was a really good moment.
Hmm.
Like I think if I put everything in context, so like of how I was putting things together. So it's almost like you can hear somebody say something about one, your parents or somebody else,
Yeah.
parents, and you like, oh, okay, that's just mom, that's just dad. You know what I'm saying? So you don't really take it as a heed, like you almost take it for granted. You know what I'm saying? Or you look at
Of course.
a different light.
Hmm.
Yeah, but then you kind of hear other people. So it comes to like I used to go down to Wake Forest, whatever. 'Cause I grew up in the Tidewater area. We used to shoot down, to see family and stuff every once in a while. Everybody growing up always tell me how good my dad was into sports and stuff, and how, basically how good they were, and how good he was.
Right.
So I heard it, but it felt very different this time. And I don't know. It was cool because it wasn't just honoring like the '68 state championship for football, but they also honored, I guess, the soccer team won a state championship for Wake Forest at
The same
96.
year.
96.
Okay.
96. And they also honored the 1973 basketball team for winning the state championship too.
Uh-huh.
So, well, and there was a couple people who got honored by themselves that maybe run like cross country or track or something like that back in the day.
Okay.
But what was interested was, and I'm putting this on context though, but it's like one of the guys that they introduced, he came up, he got an individual, I guess, a speech, whatever. So you know how you have somebody that kind of talk about you before the person that actually going to speak, and the honoree in a sense.
Yeah.
And so the guy, it was a white guy who was introducing to the black guy. I think his name was like Mike Powell or something. It wasn't Mike Powell. It was Mike something else though. But
Hmm.
um, but when he was, but when the guy was introducing, the white guy was talking about how great this guy was, as far as playing when he got to the school, and how he was like lettered in 17 sports over his course of his
Wow.
high school, team and everything, and basically was
God damn.
Mm.
saying he was probably, the best, athlete might have came out of Wake Forest. I think the dude maybe got some looks from the Jets back in the day, and I think
Mm-hmm.
I thought my dad said he played for one of the ABA teams or something, or maybe tried out or something. But he was, I guess, like
St. Louis Spirits.
something like that, right? I know, right? The damn freaking Virginia Squires or something.
The Squires, cuz.
Yeah, but anyway, so when the guy, when he was saying all this, like, he was, I guess, the white guy was referring to because he went to school with him.
Mm-hmm.
But it was crazy when the guy was speaking. He was acknowledging, I guess, the team of my dad's, which I forgot to mention that at that time it was segregated. So
Mm-hmm.
high school, my dad and like my uncle, he's on that same team. They went to Du Bois High School at the time. That was the black school, and of course Wake Forest High School was the white school back in there. And I guess in '68 they had the opportunity to, if they wanted to go to the white school, the black people did. They had the opportunity, but they only 5 people decided to go that year. Um, and so, long story short, the guy who was doing the speech, it was good because he went to Du Bois High School, the black school, and at some point, a couple years later, he ended up going to the white school. And then when they saw him play, like he was the best thing, since sliced bread. When the guy was speaking, he was just like, "Yo, I learned, my game as far as basketball, anything or football, from watching the guys, the older guys and me." And then he specifically named some of the guys, and he was like, he named my uncle, and he named my dad, and he was just like the King boy. He said, I learned a lot from them, and it was just like just watching and studying how they play, whatever and stuff. And this how I became good. So it was kind of like I'm putting it together. It's like, well, these white folks got all the resources, all the money, what I'm saying? They can create the accolades and all that stuff too. And they didn't want to recognize that Du Bois team. And now they recognize it 54 years later.
54.
54 years later. But at the end of the day, what I'm saying, that was a school. The first state championship came in '68 on my dad, the team my dad was on.
So your uncle was on that team as well?
Yeah, my uncle was a wide receiver in DB.
Okay.
My dad was a running back in DB. So
Okay.
The same year.
Huh?
It was the same year.
Yeah, they were playing
on the same team.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. So but the guy was basically saying, he was like, "Yo, you think I'm good?" You know what I'm saying? Like, yo,
See the King
you
boys.
see nothing. You see these guys I learned from. They just as good as I am. They just wasn't over it to the school. And
Right.
Word. And it's like,
just like the Negro League baseball.
Exactly like it is.
Satchel Paige. Like, no.
Exactly it is. And the words in my mouth. Exactly. So it's almost like, okay, we hear about Babe Ruth, we hear about
Yep.
Lou Gehrig, so whoever you want to say, back in the day. But then we had the Negro League, they had the money, they had the resources and all that stuff too. And people who actually saw those guys play, they was just like, if they was in the same league with those dudes then, they would have the records too. And a lot of times when they played, they was like in their late 40s by the time they was able to integrate into the
Yeah,
it wasn't.
Take some time. Look up Satchel Paige. He won the World Series, but he won it at like some crazy old age.
He was like 49 or something crazy, 45.
Yeah, believe it or not,
like
it was some crazy old age, and he kept playing past this World Series that he won. He came from the Negro Leagues, and then his first season in the major leagues, he won the World Series.
Yeah, and he was definitely in his 40s though. He was old. Yeah, that's imagine you caught Satchel Paige when he was 23, 25. You know what I'm saying? And had that time to be doing. So it's like those things that happen. So fast forward, one of the captains of the team, was speaking of, about the championship team and based on segregation and all that stuff that they had dealt with. But then he was also, of course, over this time, you got a lot of players, a portion of players has passed away. Like a couple of the quarterbacks, a couple of them, they was no longer there. So what they did is ask, they did a moment of silence. They asked the family members that related to those guys, just pretty much stand up and recognizing that they related to the person that was called. So when they had a kind of, my dad got some health issues, so he's not really ambulatory as way as he wanted to be. So he already kind of said he wasn't going up to the front to kind of, if they wanted the team to come up front. So when the guy was kind of like, kind of talking whatever and stuff, basically telling my team that he was like, well, I want to I'm gonna call your name. So basically say your positions and stuff. I want you to go walk over, behind James King, and I want you all line up behind him, and then my uncle Charles, whatever, as well. And he would call a dude, Lewis Johnson, running back, and DB, and then this person, he'll call this person name, linebacker and tight end or whatever. And the dudes lined up behind my dad and the dude. So it was just like a moving moment because even before that, you see all the, a lot of people was like talking to my dad and talking to my uncle and everything else like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm hearing this stuff and I'm seeing what's going on and everything. I was like, my uncle and my dad was them dudes, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They were them.
They got the hardware to prove it.
Yeah, and my dad was, was him. He was that guy. So I'm like seeing it, and I'm like, damn, that's dad, whatever with that. So long story short, he ended up like when the guy was speaking, he was just kind of like, we lined basically like we, behind, because James King is the one who pushed us. He's the one who was on our neck, you know what I'm saying? He was on our back, but he was the one who was the driving force behind the stuff. And he was telling a couple, I guess, crucial games they had where my uncle had an interception and my dad had an interception in the game that kind of changed the course of the game. Even the first guy was talking about, like I said, my dad was like the fastest, the quickest, and didn't fear nothing when he was on that field. So I'm looking, I'm looking like, damn, my dad was like that. I'm looking at him like in a sense.
Yeah, they had that heat.
Yeah, man. But I was like, it was the respect where they were so crazy, man. I was like really moved, man. I was teared up. I was very proud. But even when I was proud, I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm freaking Marcus Jordan, man. Like in that moment, man, I'm like, my dad's living MJ right here. I'm freaking Marcus.
Marcus got a shoe deal, dog. So,
yeah.
Marcus ain't a slouch.
Right.
To his dad, expectations, boy. And I'm in this joint looking like, but it was cool though, man. It was just like this. It was a great feeling to see and a proud moment, and just like the legacy, saying that that. Cause I guess my dad was like one of the main dudes, whatever, and my uncle was too. But it was like they was the guys, you know what I'm saying? And I'm proud of both of them. Man. It was real nice and a good moment, and I was glad that I was able to come, and two, that he was able to change his mind and actually showed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was
I would say this: your daddy needs to learn how to brag more.
Oh,
you sound like you didn't know none of this.
He's humble.
Like, I got that champion.
Very humble.
Right.
62 now. It was me, your uncle.
Right.
It was a couple cousins too. I didn't even know. I ain't never seen you guys in my life. He was like, yeah,
humble.
He was like, oh, that's one of your cousins too. I'm like, what? He's on the team.
Jermaine, if y'all would have won the state championship at Hunt, you never heard the end of it, Hunt, dog.
Ever. You know what? I tell you what, we went 12-1, and that one made us be quiet since then. That one loss, that we lost the last game. We swept everybody. And
that was the last game for the state championship?
Last game. That was last game before the state championship.
Right.
We went 12. Yeah.
Because you played 14 to win.
And the year before that, we went 11-2. So I wasn't used. Yeah, man. So last year we could have went undefeated, but
we all lose to that one loss.
We lost to a team we beat the third week, and we beat the brakes off. Bedingfield. We lost to Bedingfield.
I thought Bedingfield, really?
Yeah.
That's a
where's it at? Is it in Wilson or somewhere else?
It's in Wilson. Yeah.
Wilson Bedingfield and Wilson Hunt.
And then they got beat the next week.
For the chip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they stood up and got beat down. Like you jump up to the challenge, like, yo, I ain't supposed to be here, but we beat them. It don't matter what we did.
Yeah.
But we beat them.
So
all right, boys. Let's jump into some of these topics. It's great catching up with y'all. We're gonna start the lead topic, and I want to know. I'm gonna start with you, Jermaine. Want to know your views on interracial dating with others and then yourself. Meaning that, how do you view others that do interracial dating, and then did you or would you date interracially?
Oh, that's a good question. So I think you asked first, how would I view other folks?
What are your views? Yeah.
What are my views? Okay. Well, honestly, listen, I feel like if that's something that you want, then do it. I don't have any negative feelings towards it. I just think, honestly, I think it's a good thing. I think, they say you can't help who you love and all that good stuff, but even outside of that, I just think if that's something that you're into, then go for it. I don't have any outside of that. I don't really have anything to say in terms of that, but I will say, me personally, for me, right? I just think for me, it would be too much of a learning curve culturally. And so I mean, honestly, you never say what you won't do, man, but I know for me, well, let me say this. I'm thinking in terms of, you meet someone and you guys hash it out and you have this conversation about the do's and don'ts of the culture.
Right.
That in itself is a lot of heavy lifting, because I think for me, as I meet her family, as I go deep in her family, now I have to choose. Am I going to code switch? Am I going to not play my music when I pull up to the right? Can I be me? Or if I'm around her mother, her father, whatever the case may be, even if I'm pulling up in the car, do I need to turn my radio down?
Right.
My point is,
but is that for any culture outside of black or just white?
I'm talking about just white, because I'm thinking that's what he's asking.
No, interracial could be anything.
Interracial is not just white though.
Well, let's just make it easier, because you're very right. Because if you date a Mexican, that's still completely interracial. However, their culture is closer to ours than most. So let's just make it simple. If you dated a white girl,
right? So, and okay. So yeah. So let me just say this. So I'm specifically talking about a white girl. So I'm thinking, for me, it will be too much heavy lifting for me, because culturally, when I show up, I'm bringing my culture. Whether it be my dress, whether it be my dress code, my cuts, my music, everything is my culture. And I know sometimes the deeper you go into these families, they're not interested in this exterior culture. Now, she can try to coach them and coerce them and force them and mandate them, but it's just too much uncomfortability for me. The type of man I am, black man I am. I just think, and then I'm bringing my folks with me. And my folks, they don't know how to code switch well. So, I just don't think, for me, I don't think it will work. Any other culture, I will say this though. I will say, because I've lived in Asia, I think I could see myself dating a Chinese woman, but not a traditional Chinese woman.
Americanized one?
Yeah, Americanized. See, the Chinese culture, let me be clear. The traditional Chinese woman will embrace that black culture. They're not asking any questions. It's specifically about the relationship. But, this is for another conversation, but what traditional Chinese women are conditioned to be at a certain age is beyond my jurisdiction. I can't rock with that. That's another conversation. But any other race, I think, Jamie, like you said, I think Mexican is a little bit closer. They understand the plight, right?
So let's Latina.
Be a lot of them.
That covers everything.
Latina, my bad. You're right. Yeah, right. That covers everything. Asian, definitely. I would try American Asian. I will say this though. Africans, I don't know. I don't think so. I've tried it, and
it's try Nigerian or Liberian.
I think it was Nigerian. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just too much of an expectation of African men on Black American men. You know what I'm saying?
They hate us, nigga. They hate
us.
Right.
So, yeah, man.
Okay.
That's
all
real.
right, Kasharo.
Oh,
what do
Lord.
you think? What do you think about, I guess men
interracial dating?
Dating white women, and then you date a white woman.
I couldn't even see Kasharo dating a white woman, yo. Period, point blank.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
I could not see.
Don't get me wrong. First of all, let me ask the first question. So I do not have an issue with interracial dating. Like,
okay,
I don't care. Like, you like who you like, you like who you love. I don't have an issue with that at all. I have issues when people try to make it seem like one is better than the other, or they got to have this, they can only date this. Like, that's when I start like, really? Like, but teach his own. That's the thing. To be fully transparent, the reason why I could not date a white woman, because at a very, very young age, I had an experience that just kind of like stuck with me. And it's not fair, but it did stuck with me. So in the it was seventh to eighth grade. And then you know, at that age, you're not dating, but
Right.
you know, it was predominantly no, it was mixed, but it was like white girls like me in around seventh to eighth grade. So there's one girl in particular named Amy, kind of took to me like a lot, and I took to her too. So my first oral experience was with a white girl, right? With this Amy chick,
Yeah, because
and
they'll do that first early, man. They will do that. No, for
well,
real. Don't them white girls get their head now. They ain't doing nothing else, but they get their head early
You're
now.
gonna start somewhere.
right. So of course, naturally, she wanted it done to her too. So I did it. But again, being young, not knowing what's going on, I'm doing it, and then I just happened to actually look at what I was doing, and I saw all this like white stuff, and it just freaked me out. Like I was just like, I just can't believe. I was like, "What did you do to me? Like, what are you doing? Like, what you mean? I was like, what is this white stuff?" I was like, I gotta get out of here. So
the white stuff.
It just messed me up. Baby. It just messed me up. So from that point on, I looked at all white women like that until I was old enough to understand, like, it's not, it's not a white
she thing. Was just excited.
You were traumatized. You traumatized, yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't know what was going on. I was like, what is this in my mouth? So anyway, so later on in life, like I actually did, not date a white woman, but actually, had sex with a white woman. It was just different, and not just any disrespect to white women, because there are some great ones out there. I have some in my family that I love dearly, but the experience of that, just a sexual experience, it was just different. And I was just like, it's not like my black women. I was just like, I just couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? So I just wouldn't be able to do it. Any other race, maybe, but I haven't really been with any other race other than black and white. So, well, no, I take that back. I have been with some Latinos, but it was just different. So I couldn't do it, personally. So that's my stance on it. But I do, to bring this up, so I have an issue with, it's not an issue, it just stands out. So y'all know the guy, Jay Ellis from Insecure, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he, got married and they posted it and he was with, a white woman, people went crazy. And I couldn't understand why they went crazy, but a part of me, I understood to a certain degree. It's kind of like, because he goes so hard for black women, and there's nothing wrong with it. You should, but does not mean you can't date outside of this just because you go hard for black women. But I think it was kind of shocking to people because he does go so hard, and then he ended up being with a white woman. So I think situations like that, it does kind of like make people go like,
the thought.
Well, the same thing happened to Amari Harvey too, right?
Yeah,
but his wife was ugly.
But that, come on. right.
Anyway, yeah. So I hope did I answer the question?
Yeah. They were not mad at Omari for having a white wife. They were mad at him for having an ugly white wife. Let's be clear.
Right. But in his eyes, she was everything, right?
Yeah.
She's been a good woman. Who knows? But
no one's doubting if she's a good woman. But
I'm saying, but sometimes women like
that man to be who
people getting mad at. We said the Ellis guy or Lawrence was insecure, and I think also because I think people take people role when they play in a movie or TV.
Right.
Oh yeah, of course.
In reality, they know what I'm saying. They get upset when they found out it's something else. Like Tay Diggs back in the day, when people found out that he was, dating.
Tay Diggs is weird.
You know what I mean? So it's like, but a lot of the characters he's dating, black women stuff, I guess.
Right. And people translate that over to reality.
Of course, All American, he dated a white woman in that show. But
he don't make it no better than All American. All right, Kwame, what is your take on interracial dating with others and yourself?
Yeah. I would say pretty much that I think it's beautiful women of all races, black, white, Asian, Latina, Middle Eastern. Like, so if you see a pretty woman, it's a pretty woman. But I know dating is just dating somebody is more than just looks though too. You know what I'm saying? So outside that, like Jermaine had mentioned earlier, is culture stuff, acceptance of people's families. You're on both sides. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like you have a lot of the obstacles that you may face with, and I don't think nothing's wrong with people wanting to face those obstacles if they're in love. But I also think that like people, I think people like you kind of date where you go around, really. You know what I'm
Gotcha.
saying?
Yeah.
So,
Because if you in
Right.
Okinawa, you probably gonna get with your
Right.
I'm
Japanese
saying
lady.
so. Just like with Jermaine, never been in China before the time he went over there. Hypothetically speaking, if he happened to stay there longer than what he probably did, and say
Yeah.
stay 4 or 5 years, and by
Mhm.
that time, there's no telling like that's you're gonna see
Gotta
all kind of
assimilate.
Asian women because that's all
Right.
you date, and he gonna see of all kinds. He's pretty, you're gonna
Mhm.
see not so pretty, you're gonna see some thick ones, you're gonna see some skinny ones,
Mhm.
and I think a lot of times when you're in an environment where it's so mixed together like a mixing bowl, we all have our own thoughts about people's cultures and what it is. So
Right.
it might be like, yo, I'll never date like an Asian shit because they all skinny and all little and stuff like that. And then you go somewhere where that's the majority, and you feel like they're gonna have the skin, they're gonna have they don't have everything else, like the whole variety of what it is. You just going off what you see around you. I also
Yeah.
think that when you're kind of go to, like I said, I think if you go further from the west, to go out to the west coast compared to the east coast and the south, it's a difference. Like
Of course
usually
it
people
is.
in the south, of course, people interracial date all over the country. Don't get me wrong,
Right.
but like I said, but most time you see white people date white, black date black, so and so and so and so. You go
Right.
out California, you go out Las Vegas or Nevada, or Arizona. You see a lot of interracial dating.
Iowa too.
Who?
Iowa.
Iowa.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Really?
even with that, I'm just saying it's such a missing bowl. Like it's probably nothing for them to kind of date like, okay, oh she's mixed with
Mhm.
Asian and Latina or something like that. And then so I think it's more norm out there, and you see that. But also, I mean,
Mhm.
some dudes might think they got a leg up on because they got some mixed type face white girls.
Right.
But
Mhm.
yeah, I think you kind of date when you wish you around. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure if I was freaking, and then I don't know, Peru somewhere, then it's almost like I probably
You be dating the
I'm there.
Peruvian
Perusian.
Yeah,
lady.
there you go.
Right.
I'm coming back. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And making whatever she's making and loving it. You know what I'm saying? If that
But Kwame, you know what too? You now because I got some homie, and you got we probably know some same folks, but I know some brothers who they just like white girls. That's all they like. They prefer. You
but
got some brothers like that.
that's the issue I have.
Dog. They
That's
said
the
if it
issue I
ain't
have. I have an
snowing, they
Well,
not
issue.
just
going.
like because that's preference, or just like because they think it's better. There's a difference.
Well,
Better.
both really
Both.
preference and better.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
Don't
and
make
and
it right.
and
This is what their
and, and,
preference
and,
is.
and check this out too. I mean, this is another conversation, but some brothers started a YouTube channel about how they're no longer dating black women. They're done with black women.
I do
And
with that.
yeah, I disagree. For whatever reason, that's the thing. But my point is, you got some brothers out here who just it's just preference. Some is preference, but some of it's just they just feel like it's better.
Right.
Or they're chasing that Kim Kardashian type. That's white, but is making not making well. Yeah,
You got black
Good look.
characteristics,
but there you
stuff
go.
like that,
There
and all
you
Like
go.
that.
brown.
Absolutely,
That's what it is. The same stuff that they hated 20 years ago, now they love it.
absolutely, absolutely.
Mhm.
So that's what it is, man. But I don't know, like not to keep going, but I'm just saying I just don't I despise, like I said, somebody who feel like that's all they date, not because they think it's better. So
Right.
I have an issue with somebody.
Right,
Well,
right.
I did everything. I like, if she's pretty, I date her, it don't matter what color, that's an issue. Or if you prefer to date the person, that's fine. But when you start hating your own stuff, your own color, and like
Right.
Yeah.
I got a problem with that.
That's not healthy.
Yeah.
But you answer the question. Would you?
Yeah, would you? I think he's it. I mean,
yeah,
he said-
I would date. I mean, it's not a preference at all. Cause like I said, everybody I really dated, like on a serious dating, that's they all been black. So, but yeah, I'll probably open to it as long as the person can is willing to kind of like learn my culture, and I'm learning her culture, and whatever the case may be. And you open to it, like I think the worst thing in the world is you got somebody that's of a different culture don't like the same
Right.
culture you come from, but like you. Like that don't make sense to me.
Right.
Corny as hell.
That's true.
That's not gonna work.
That's true, man.
So
What about you, Jamie?
for myself, I do not mind what others do because it's not my business. It's pretty simple that way. Being where I'm from, I grew up in Robinson County and that is the home of the Lumbee Native Americans.
Lumbee Indians.
So the Lumbees are down there. So in my case, we did not. Well, we really didn't date our black girls because they were pretty much either cousins or my friend's sister.
Mm.
So growing up, well, I guess in middle school, excuse me, high school, when it was dating time, it was mostly, I'm dealing with the Lumbees because they were plentiful and available versus you can't date my sister. So I never, I did not realize once I got to college that there were not Lumbees everywhere. It's like, really, they're just in Robinson County. It's like oh shit, it's just my thing.
Right.
But would I date out of my race? I would not, because you have to date the family.
Right.
That's really the most important part. It's the girl, of course, but it's really over time, like months and months and years into the relationship, it's that family. And then how they receive you, how they accept what y'all got going on, how to accept your family,
right,
and everything else. So that part is what most people don't think about, is the family.
Right.
And their what they
culture.
got going on. The culture, but the family.
Right.
I dated a Liberian, and that was different because they were going through a civil war in the 2000s, 90s, 2000s, and the grandmother happened to have been visiting, and then her whole country was gone, so she had to stay in North Carolina forever until she passed. So they just, that's a whole different thing. You're dating the culture and the family,
right?
And that was a little different for me. But it was cool because they were all about family. I give them that. They were all about family, still are about family. Not that we aren't, but there's a different kind of intense. It's like we all stay together in the same house together.
Right,
like,
right.
Oh, we got houses. This is grandma's house. This is my uncle's house. This is my mama's house.
That extended family thing. I know exactly.
Yeah, they're in the house together. We are family, and we're all very smart people. Where we could be lackadaisical about some shit. They dead serious. So I myself, I could date, but I don't know if I could date a white girl because I don't know.
Yeah.
I like big titties. Natural big black brown titties.
I'm glad you were specific. I was like, a lot of white girls got big titties now.
I'm glad
you brown titties. I like to have some shit.
You like them Duracell. You like them Duracell. Yeah. with that burnt.
I've never thought about it like that, but that is so fucking funny.
With that burnt bologna. With that burnt bologna around it. That nigga like that burnt bologna.
Burnt bologna titties. I got to see some tit. And it's like, I want to see it. And when you go in the sun, I am Pacific, nigga. I am Pacific as fuck. Not specific. I'm Pacific. I'm
Pacific, like Pacific Ocean.
I'm Pacific. My mind's. So I'm like, it's a little too late for that. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I want to love you, but I can't.
Everybody kind of said about the dating part. Jermaine, you said something about it too?
Yeah, we all did.
Since we talking about dating, then I want to give y'all a picture. So, like, can you imagine, like I said, if you was kind of like in a time capsule, right? And you was able to, I guess, teleport and live in the 50s or 60s, whatever. And you had the opportunity to date during that time period. Do you think that time period, like I said, probably our parents' generation, if we was younger, to be teleported there, or even this current generation, but a younger version of ourselves, what era do you think it would be easier to date, and why? And keep in mind, dating and having sex are two different things.
Say it again.
Dating and having sex are two different things.
Dating.
Oh, dating. Okay.
And having sex is two different things.
Would it be easier to date the woman versus
date the woman? I'm talking about like you're dating, you're courting, y'all going out, that's your lady, y'all go dancing.
Would it be easier to date women from this generation?
Running your family, that type of relationship, would that be easier in the generation of your parent generation or the current generation is now?
Okay.
Jermaine, what do you think?
So
And why?
okay, so let me just be clear. Me now, either dating someone like in my parents' generation or now.
Currently, yeah.
Me currently,
As a younger man. So like, yeah.
right? So okay, so let me start. Let me start here. And it's crazy, man, because I be looking at some of my mom pictures. My mom had some nice looking friends, man. She was back in her like 20s and uh, pushing 30.
Heydays. Yeah.
Right. So listen. So I will say this. If this makes sense. I personally think it would be easier dating from women from generations big in the past. And I say that because you got to understand, if you're thinking about black men during that time, like black men weren't going to college a lot in Groves, right? That really didn't pop off until the Cosby Show, to be honest, to where we started hitting. Yeah, but
80s.
they were produced by workers, so black men were workers. I'm saying all this thing to say, me now, if I had to go back in the time machine, I think all of us, we would be looked at as an abnormally, right? We wouldn't be normal, like so I think it'll be easier. And plus I think women, for us financially is what I'm saying, right? I think financially be easier. The other thing is I think women back then weren't as complicated as women today. I think, and what I mean by that is I think simplicity was the simple things, right? From just being how you treat them, and they didn't want a lot. Maybe comfortability, a man to treat them well, and things like that. And I think the expectations for women on black men back then too, it was just like I said, it was just basic. I think today it's harder because one, women have, which is good, they have their own thing too. They're prosperous and things like that. But I think now social media has inflamed and tainted what traditional dating is. Traditional dating to me doesn't exist anymore. If you are not in tune with the latest or the most current social media wave, from fashion to slang to attitude, social media has its own attitude too. Let's be clear. It has its own attitude. And I feel like if you're not a part of that wave and a part of that unrealistic world, dating someone now, especially a little bit younger than us, I think it'll be difficult because now we're not speaking the same language. I speak a language of reality. I don't speak a language of a false reality. And my interests don't revolve around social media. My interests revolve around reality. So I just think the cloth I'm cut from, it'll be easier for me to date someone back, maybe like in my mom's era when she was in her heyday, opposed to now. Even with the demands, social media has rewritten the beauty standards, right? So now you got, think about this now. So now women, believe it or not, all women, I'm gonna say all women now are combating. It's like they're well, I won't say that, but I will say it's like they're in this tug of war with beauty standards, right? Because social media has rewritten the rules. So now, you got women risking their lives to die on the table to look a certain way. You got women working out, which is great. But I don't care what anyone says. Every single woman that's digging into that social media, and they're seeing these women, and they're seeing these shapes, and they're seeing this hair and these lashes. Every woman, they're placing themselves against the black backdrop of that woman in terms of how marketable am I to a man?
Right.
So it's just too many demands right now outside of what I think should be taking place. So to answer your question, I think it'd be easier for me to date a woman back in my mother's day.
That's real. Think about you.
Yeah. It'd certainly be cheaper to date a girl.
Absolutely.
In the,
right.
Absolutely, bro.
70s. And the sex will be freer. You don't have to wrap up. You just got to jape it off and then you just pull it out.
You can get a little hair with you too, though. You can get a little hair
on that thing.
Think about you wonder why so many people got so many uncles and aunts back in those days too, because they weren't pulling out.
Ain't pulling out. Only thing
that was for suckers. That was for suckers.
Straight suckers.
This generation is just it's pretty hard to be dating. I mean, even for the young folk, because there's no mystery. Everything is, right at your fingertips. You want to know anything about her. So this girl can't remain a mystery to you. So you can't think of these things that you want to know. You can't wonder.
You
It's
see it
all
already.
right. It's I can go find out right now what she's
Look.
thinking about, you know, and I understand she's not good with English. It's like, God damn, that's a turnoff. I'm in love with the English language. I like words and punctuation and all that. So that's a thing. And these girls are becoming, I don't know, man. It's just the mystery is unraveling. They're coming,
That's a
from what
good
I see. I don't know. I'm
That's a
on
good
this side of it. I'm married. So back in the day there was a little more mystery to it, and it was sexier. Now it's just like everybody has to be. Jermaine just said that the internet has a voice or a attitude, and it's sex. It's all sex. It's everywhere you go, and you can't get away from it. And we're forcing everybody to be sexy, and they don't. I just I'm gonna sexual too. I want her to be smarter than me, so I wouldn't want her to be, you know, well read. I can see the
Right.
titties. That's all. That's all the gate.
Right.
But are you smarter than me? But now these
True.
kids don't. They don't have to be.
Mm-mm.
value. Yeah.
They
And that's
don't have to be.
dangerous.
So I would prefer to date a older generation, um, but like without the cocaine and crack part. So we got to leave that part out. So where in the generation is the question? It has to be pre 84.
I would
When
say
did Len Bias die?
84,
83, 84,
I think it was
84.
84,
So
85.
she got to be around.
85.
Yeah, I want to date around that time. Pre. Yeah,
You limb buys is the parameter.
That's the parameter.
I'm leaving because I was a child. I'm thinking like this nigga just died. I
Yeah, he
remember
died in
waking
86.
up.
I remember that too. I remember
It
that.
was
Yeah.
on the radio, and my cousin Amy was listening to it in the kitchen. I said, I was sleeping on my grandparents' couch. I'm like, Len Bias died of. I was a child. I'm thinking like he died of drugs.
So he was say just say no. Nah.
Dog, we
he
was from that generation. Just say
was
no. That was
generation.
the
Yeah.
thing.
Us,
Yeah.
Reagan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
it.
remember where I was when they said the man was dead. So that's
Yeah.
my demarcation in the line that I knew drugs was real. Killed Len
Absolutely.
Bias. That nigga was a fucking superstar.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Gone
was.
from fucking drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The fish scale. He was off the boat with his. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he died in 86. I looked it up.
86.
86? I thought it was 85.
It said 86. He was
Well,
drafted.
give me the
Wow.
one from 85 on back. That's when they were just doing cocaine and not crack. Whatever crack is, give me that back.
Because he was supposed to come in there and give Jordan some problems in the league too.
He was the problem.
That's what
Yeah.
he
was the
built like
problem.
LeBron back then or something. Back in those days. He was built.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Charles, what about you, man? Are you just new age, current age if you was there and the girls showing it all? Or you want more mystery and little chase like back in our parents' day?
I think I a little of both. I would like to have a little of both. Like,
Oh yeah, choose, baby.
no, you asked me the
Gotta
question.
choose.
I'm giving you my answer.
Take a side. Take a
Let me
side.
tell you why. No, I think it'd be easier to date in the earlier our parents' era, specifically for me, the 70s. Like that was just like the free, the free spirited age, like the Woodstock and all that. People walking around naked and being free. Like y'all know I like that. So that's my thing. Like I could really deal with it. I could deal with everything in that era except women with the bush. Like I just can't deal with all that hair. Like you have to shave. Like so that part I couldn't deal with.
You have to be mindset with that. You know what I'm saying? Keep in mind that mindset. You can show her some new things and tell her like, yeah, you want that thing trimmed up or waxed or something.
You could, but and maybe because of women are a little bit more traditional back then, they would listen to their man, so they probably would, So but you never know. But that would be a deal breaker for me. So, but I don't have an issue like the chicks what they doing now. Like I know it's all like fantasy and facade. They people faking and being all sexy and stuff, but it don't bother me. Like it's kind of entertaining to a sense. Like I don't mind a chick being sexy and like all that. Like, it don't bother me. So that's why I said I could have a little bit of both. Like, if you
how much
huh?
of it bother you? That's the thing.
Say again?
Like somebody doing it, that's one thing, and do it time to time. Somebody doing it all the time. That's all they do. Every time they have to stop, they have to take a picture. They got to make sure this look right,
Right.
lighting right. Like you dealing
Yeah,
constantly.
that part. I couldn't deal with that. No,
Yeah, because
that part.
it
But
varies. Somebody doing
that's what
it.
I'm saying. Yeah, it's layers to it. There's different levels. I mean, there's levels to it. But
Mm-hmm.
if I had to choose, it would definitely be earlier
Mm,
generation.
mm,
Not now. I just no.
right.
Y'all think we
Too
going
much.
4 for 4, buddies? Going 4 for 4. I
4 for 4.
get you too. Huh?
You answer?
Yeah, answer your question.
No, I never did. I'm saying I said I was going to older generation.
Oh,
Uh,
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, like in the early, for some of the reasons that y'all already said, I think, um, I think it would be easier in a sense where like they'd be less impressed. They'd be more impressed over the simple things, like
Mm-hmm.
you come in and you walk into her house and you grab some daffodils out somebody's yard and give it to her. She might actually really like that.
Right. Right. Right.
But now, I mean,
Right.
motherfucker punch in your eye. It didn't even come with those dead flowers.
It brings some money in that piece.
Yeah,
Bread.
I, that's all, of course, hypothetical, but just like, I don't know. I just think they would be a lot easier for as simple, doing simple things, and it'll come up more appreciative.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you think that generation, they be more about trying to make sure the family and the man is definitely priority. I think it shift, and the shift is
Right.
a bad thing necessarily, because I do think that a woman having her own independence, doing her own thing, and don't need a man is important as well too.
Right.
But I think when you're in a meaningful relationship, that you have also make sure that man got a voice and making sure he's respected, and vice versa. But I'm saying I think in terms of the woman, so I don't know. I think it'd be a lot easier because for those reasons. I think as far as course like sex and all that stuff, this generation, this my impression. I think like you said, we get a technology, everything's at your fingertips, and like I said, and the mystery is kind of gone to a certain extent. Like if a person wants to send their new body to you, whatever parts they want to see, whatever and stuff, then it's nothing to go do it. Like if when we was kind of like younger age and college age, or whatever, if somebody's showing something, it was a little bit of work. You had to go find a VCR, get the tape. You had to do some steps. Now it's not even,
Multiple steps.
you know what I'm saying? Now there's no steps. I take a picture or a video, I'll send to you right there. So I think people in general get more used to it. I mean, it's all on television, it's everywhere you see,
Right.
so now it's not even a big deal. So
Right.
I think you date somebody now and you had 2 or 3 conversations, y'all people are already showing themselves, you know what I'm saying?
Well, they've already shown themselves because they probably did it online, and you could just go and look at their timeline.
You know what I'm
Like,
saying?
figure
All
out who their
technology.
friends are, who they really are. Because most of the time, we're going to send our representative, "Hey, how are you today?"
Right.
Versus, some wild shit you're going to say.
facts.
Back in the day, but chick had the early cell phone era. If they was like sending you something, they was really dating. They was really liking you was their boyfriend. Now I don't think it takes that much. So I think it's easier to get into that situation
Mm-hmm.
compared to probably even when we were growing up, and definitely probably our parents' generation. Then so I don't know. It's just my thoughts. I could be wrong on it.
Right.
What is your thoughts?
My thoughts, man.
Those are definitely your thoughts. Well, something I want to talk about, and it could kind of go into like how generations and I guess how things change. This topic it keeps coming up. I think we kind of talked about it before, but I guess just not in depth about it. I guess just etiquette when it comes to things like splitting cost of things. And so I got 3 different type of scenarios, but 2 of them might kind of intertwine. But Jamie, tell me what is your spend on going to dinner
Yeah.
with a group of people
Mm-hmm.
and the bill coming? Now I'm gonna talk group. Let's say 5 to 7 people. All right. Let's say
Okay.
I'll order an entree. A few people might order a couple of drinks. Some people who don't drink might not order a drink. You get like a couple of appetizers. Yeah, everybody at the table eating those appetizers, but everybody, the bill comes, and one of the people say, "Let's split this check 7 ways." Like,
The 7
how you
ways.
feel? How you feel about that?
You said 7 ways or separate ways?
7.
7
Well,
different
it's separate,
ways.
but it's 7. Yeah. One of the people be like,
Well-
the waiter come. He like, let's put this chick 7 ways. Like, how you feel about that?
I personally would just pay it. I just prefer to pay it because I don't like the awkward moment of I only had the nachos. You know.
Oh, we should just pay. You talking about pay the whole bill or what?
Yeah, I'll pay the whole bill.
Whole bill.
Bill $500. You gonna pay the whole bill?
I'm gonna pay it.
Okay, I was making sure I understood.
I gotta pay it. I want to get out of there. I refuse to sit here and act like I don't have money. I mean, I sat with y'all. We broke bread. I'm probably invited y'all out. You know,
I'm
it's who I'm with.
I'm saying this. So you said
with a
if you
bunch
just
of
order some
strangers.
appetizers and everybody got all these drinks and everything else, instead of splitting it, you just pay the whole bill? I'm hearing that right?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Now we could also do another thing where we do credit card roulette, where we put all our credit cards in there and have the waiter pick a credit card and you pay it that way. There's a couple ways to go about it, but me, I'm paying the bill.
I'll make sure I was crystal clear. So,
Jermaine, what is your?
So we gotta watch Common when I take him out to eat, y'all.
Absolutely.
oh yeah,
For sure.
We're gonna ball the fuck out.
Till he fall.
Jermaine, what do you think?
Yeah, so yeah, I'm not thinking like Jamie's thinking at all. Here's the thing. So for me, it depends. If I'm going out now with my homies, that's different because I think at the end of the day, we can give each other a look, or somebody could be like, "Hey, we're gonna do it separate," and we just roll with it. Kwame and I, we do lunch a lot. I might be like, "Kwame, I got it." Out the gate, or Kwame may not got it, or whatever. And then there's been times we Dutch it up. My point is, if I'm out with a group of folks, let's say if I go out. Matter of fact, we got this thing coming up at work, and we're going out. For me, I think the conversation needs to be had before we get there, which we've already done. Gotta have that conversation because I know for me, I don't care if we have it or not. I know when folk come over there, hey, this is what I have right here. I'm letting you know out the gate. So I don't have a problem with that. For me, it's just a level of comfortability. When I'm out with my mom or my family, I automatically take care of it. Even with my brother, when I'm out with siblings and fam, I got it. My homeboys, it just depends. I go with the vibe. It's been times when we gone out, I paid. Well, we all have paid for it. Yeah. But if I'm out with some people, I don't mind that awkwardness of I have it because I think at the end of the day, that's just part of the outing, right? You have fun collectively, and then individually you take care of your stuff. So for me, yeah, I'm all with having a discussion if possible on that etiquette, so that we can know what we're getting into. But if the situation is just like some my folks, family, or my homies, then we ain't gotta have a conversation. Go either way. Because with your homies, if somebody pays, somebody gonna leave a decent tip or vice versa.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. Kwame.
Yeah, I think it's I think it depends on, like I said, just where you at, who you with, in your culture and stuff too. Culture as far as I think certain areas we do certain things differently too. So I mean, I'm more like I said, if we kind of evenly eat and no one's going crazy, whatever and stuff, and somebody's saying like, yo, let's split it, we're gonna split it, whatever, like even on the cross, I'm cool with it. But I think, saying if somebody just like with me, they get a whole bunch of stuff and I get, not that much. I'm not saying I'm counting like they had 5 things, they had 4, but I'm talking about something that's very obvious. I'm not
like drinks, like 4 or 5 drinks, 6 drinks or something.
Yeah, you're like, all right, we spend $70 off your drinks just off, just that alone. So that I have probably issue just cut half in that situation. But I think, let's say, like y'all say, you got to know the culture of what you got going on. I know I had a cousin. She was telling me that she was taking her, her boyfriend out to eat, and they invited like, one of her cousins, was not related to me, and then like another group of friends, just another couple to come to the thing.
Okay.
So budget a certain amount, I guess, for her and her boyfriend. And then I guess her cousin's kind of like one of those dudes that got like they want to be seen or something like that. So when they come, she was like, "Oh, yeah, we splitting this up, whatever." And she was like looking like, "Yo, order all this stuff that we even have." She didn't say it, but in her mind, she's thinking it. You know what I'm saying? And I guess she felt away like it was inconsiderate, you know what I'm saying? And I guess the person just assumed. So I mean, I don't know how you
Yeah.
bring up talking to beforehand. I think Jermaine, you said that. I guess it depends on the relationship.
No, Jermaine is clear.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
he clear.
absolutely.
But I'm talking about you for
Yeah.
group. So, like for example, you saying that if there was 7 work colleagues going out, y'all cool, whatever, but y'all not real close like that. How did that conversation look before you get there? If you having that conversation, you know, because I don't know how that would work beforehand.
Yeah, I don't
So,
have work
so
colleagues. How does that
right.
work?
So, well, I'm speaking for me. For me, um, whoever sends out that email, right? Whoever sends out the email, okay, boom, this is where we're going, yada yada yada. Either one or two things. We either congregate on campus to head over together, and when we congregate, that conversation comes up, right? Or
Right.
if I get there, just say if I get there, and out of 8 people, if I get there, I'm the 6th person. When we sit down, I don't drink like that anyway, so a tab is already started. So when we sit down and I order, I'm letting the waiter know off top, this is me.
Got
Okay,
you.
you understand what I'm saying?
Right. You don't have to have
Or
a big talk with everybody. It's like, no, this is my tab.
right,
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
So it's not so like we having a meeting about it, but it's more or less you
He
pulling
talking
the
with the right person.
right. Gotcha. Okay.
absolutely.
How that work?
I agree with that.
Okay, I can see that. All right.
But there have been times too where it'll come up. Somebody's already asked, or it will come up, and or at the bottom of the email, it'll be like individual, whatever. It'll be some indication. But I know for me, that's what I do. Out the gate, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, I agree with everything y'all said. A little bit of everything. However, for me, my position on that is I'm just like, okay, I do feel like it's a certain comfort level with people do that with.
Right.
However, I just feel like we are at a certain stage in our life. Like, when we go out to dinner, having drinks, appetizers, whatever. If it ain't nothing like extravagantly different, I don't have an issue with splitting the bill. When I say extravagantly, I mean this person just throwing them back like all night. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a bit much. I think a situation like that, I still don't feel like I'll have to split the bill. I'll just be like, okay, you need to put those drinks on this person's tab, but everything else, I feel like we could split down the middle. You know what I mean? Like because that's kind of excessive, like to me. But I just feel like we grown, like we too old to be splitting checks. Like I just think like just split it down the middle. Split it down the middle. Like, and sometimes it might even come out better that way if you just split it down the middle. It's like it's an option. We're gonna split it down the middle, or somebody gonna take care of the bill. It's like, and sometimes it makes it easier on the waiter, the waitress. Like, who got time to be going splitting up 7 to 10 different checks?
I had the nachos.
I'm like, that's too much.
She had the breadsticks.
I just think it's ridiculous to me. And because this situation, I had an intern going away party for one of my supervisors last summer. It was like 12 people at this Mexican restaurant. All had entrees, all around the same price because the menu is pretty standard. Yeah. Everybody might have a drink, some didn't. But there's one guy, I think he had like 2 extra drinks than what everybody else got. And this one lady, she told the way to split that check like 12 different ways. And I was so pissed. I was like, "Are you shitting me right now?" Like,
no.
Over
She's serious about them $2
extra drink. Like she was dead serious. I think what made it worse, she asked to split the checks and then she left and she didn't even pay her bill.
What?
That was the thing that kind of pissed me off even more. And like, even if she had to stay, it was only $1.69 difference for what she would have paid more of the entire bill. So I just think like some cases, I just think it's unnecessary to be splitting all those different checks. Like you shouldn't come, if you don't think you can afford, where you going. I mean, you got to think about that. Think about you going out. So people gonna eat, people gonna drink. Like I said, as long as it's not excessive, do what you got to do. The only time I feel, and I made this mistake once, the only time I wouldn't feel like I need to split the bill is like if me and my family go out with somebody else and they don't have a family. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't put all 4 of us on somebody to split the bill. You know what I mean? I made that mistake once. You know what I mean? But outside of that, I don't see why we can't split this bill. Like I just don't.
I don't see why we can't split it.
Well, you know, I think some things are also like culturally. I'm not even saying culturally different, like ethnic groups, something like that. But I'm talking about even. I know it was a difference. It's not going out, but I know the difference. Like from like maybe being in North Carolina. I mean, I was younger then too, though. But also like being here, like if somebody has a gathering, for example. I feel like this is more common. That's the case, but like people may, somebody having a gather, but people will bring stuff to that person's gathering, like different food items and stuff like that, and people kind of do it. Here, it's not like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody's having something in their home and you hosting it, you taking care of everything for the most part. I mean, like, and it's the expectation, because if you go there and you like, nigga, why you got me over here if you can't take care? Like, that's the attitude. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got it, you got it. If you don't,
you got no cold ice. What kind
you
of
shouldn't
shit
be
is
happy.
this?
Outside it, somebody may bring dessert and maybe like, maybe, of course, liquor or something like that. But if you talking about, can you bring this and can you bring the chicken and you can bring that?
Nah,
It's gonna be frowned upon. And I don't feel like it's the same way in North Carolina. I don't feel like it's different.
No, North Carolina, you got to bring something. It doesn't have to be specific.
Yeah.
You can't come empty-handed.
Yeah, the expectations is different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's more like potluck type deal.
It might do it.
No,
And-
potluck. You got to bring something that's packaged.
Right. But also too, some people's idea of splitting the bill or even tipping is different. You know what I'm saying? I mean, some people, for example, I've gone out with people, and this was recent, the last couple of weeks. This is a different set of colleagues though, but they made it up front, like, yo, like, yeah, this individual, like, before we even got that's what I was referring to when I was thinking about that when I made my first comment. But even with tipping, some people don't do the whole 10 or 15%. They just, look, I got $2 or $3. Let me just leave this on the table. You know what I'm saying? So, and then too, Kashara just referenced this. Like, I think if you're going to go out with a huge crowd, I think you should be understanding about what you're about to get into, right? If you really don't have the money to do whatever, you shouldn't be out in the first place. But my point is, some people they're so individualized in terms of their finances. They're not thinking about anybody else. They're like,
God, no.
fuck that. Like, I'm going, So what I guess what I'm saying is, when we're out with people, everybody has their own idea of their money and how their money is going to work for them in that space at that time.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
I wouldn't count. Yeah, I agree with that. I wouldn't count nobody's pockets. Like, this is what you need to do. I'm not saying you need to do, but I'm just kind of like it's kind of like knowing your room, like work your room and know who you with when you could do, certain things. And like sometimes you still might be caught off, like somebody might catch you off guard, like, no, I ain't doing that. You know what I mean? It's just you just never know. But I'm just saying, like, and it makes me not want to go out with people. Like, there are people I was like, I'm not ever going out with them again because they just act like they be like split bills like every time we go somewhere. I'm like, I'm not doing that. So I just don't feel comfortable. Like, why are we splitting these bills? Like, I don't know.
Right. Family or friends. You see you go out with kid.
Mama, quit playing. You better split this bill.
You don't want to say hi.
Because some people would like, some people in the family think you're gonna get the bill every time. Like, no, that's not what we doing. I don't mind sometimes, but don't have the expectation.
Right. Because some people they'll get that in their mind, and be like, yeah, we know y'all got it. We know he's going.
That's like going to a restaurant and you're like, I'm gonna leave my wallet at home on purpose. Like, that is crazy to me.
Yeah, that's rude as hell.
Yeah,
I'm saying, better do your wallet dance. Where's my wallet at?
All right. So the other situation is, I know it's still kind of splitting costs. I guess it depends on who you go with. So I am at a stage in my life where if I'm traveling with some people, I say guys trip. This is different when you're with your families, but that's a section too. But if we go on a guys trip, we all are in our 40s, pushing 50. Is the expectation that we're going to always share rooms to split the cost, or are we going to get our own room? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? Like, because I feel like now I have afforded myself the standard of being able to have my own room, right? Because I work hard and I should be able to get my own room. Or, I don't think I should have to split a room with somebody. It's all circumstantial, of course, but I prefer, if I'm going on a trip, I want my own room because I want my own room. If I want to walk around naked and massage my balls all day, I should be able to do that because I'm paying for that. I should not have to feel like I'm going to split this room with somebody, unless it's a situation where the room is big enough and we can have our own, quarters or whatever. You know what I mean? But I just don't.
Like a
I just
suite.
know some people who feel like every time we go on a trip, we gotta split rooms. I'm like, why are we doing that? We about to be 50. Like, why are we still doing that? So, what is y'all position on that, Jamie?
Yeah, I'm splitting the room because I want to be on the trip with you. I don't want to be in the trip with you in another room. We kicking it. So I'm mostly with Philip Terry. So me and Phil in the
Does
room
it?
together.
But does it depend on the trip, or you mean any trip you want to split a room?
Pretty much any trip because I want to be with the boy. I want to be with my friends. Let's talk about the hell what happened. We got to get up. We got to go to bed. It's the process of being with the person. So I want to be with my friend. I don't want to be in another room just by myself. We supposed to be tripping out together on what the hell just happened. That's a part of the road trip to me. I'm still, I guess, in that vein. I don't care to have my own room. I want to be with my friends on this trip because we're on the trip. Now we got a villa, like we were in Costa Rica and we had a villa. I got my room, of course, but if we're in a hotel in Vegas, get a suite and we can hang out in the room. That's what we did for Philip Harrington's wedding. Me and my LB, because we want to talk about what the hell we just did.
Sweet. Sweet. Yeah, I can do all day.
But we stayed in broke
actually,
ass Treasure Island with everybody because they made it to. I wanted to be in the Wynn. These fools in Treasure Island.
That's where you should have been at.
Right. So we went, and I mean, I want to be with my LB. This is not common that we don't have many more of these trips that we could take. We're not. I'm looking at it that way. It's like we don't have many more of these because
that's a
you're
good
probably
perspective
with your family.
Never thought about that way.
Yeah,
That's
if I'm gonna be on the trip, I want to be with you. I'm with Kwame. We together in the room so we could catch up and talk about what we're up against. So what we're doing. We got golf tomorrow. All right, dog. So look, I'm probably gonna start with this 9-iron, man. I'm gonna see what I'm working with. I don't want to be in my room by myself.
Interesting. All right. Kwame, thoughts?
I think I'm more on your side. Yeah, I mean, I see Jamie, and I get it too when you fucking on a trip. But I think I'm to the point too where I'm cool with, you know what I'm saying, just have my, my own space, even though on the trip, I feel like if, I guess to kind of counter what Jamie's saying, I know it's a little different, but like I can still go to your room, to my room. We can till one of us get tired, or I'm gonna roll or something like that, and I'll see you tomorrow. Like I'm okay with it, but like I said, I prefer that. But I think, like I said, if I'm sharing, like, what I'm saying, a room, then gotta be somebody I'm close with, whatever and stuff, of course. And like I said, probably more of a suite style setup versus whatever. I don't know. Like I said, I just felt like before when we were, when you kind of like your 20s, early 20s, we were trying to do it because we were trying to all go on a trip and we trying to make it. It was just getting there.
Right.
I think now, for me, it's just like not just getting there, but also being comfortable and relaxed in the state I am. Do all the other stuff, go each other room, we can drink in each other room, we can go out, all that, you know what I'm saying? But maybe it's time to go to bed, I'm cool, just kind of like just retiring to my layer until the next day.
Yeah, because like, I wanted to talk, to my woman on the phone and, say some things that I probably couldn't say, from you,
Hey, you gotta go to the bathroom, have that conversation instead of being in your bed.
So it depends on what you think, Jermaine.
So, well, Kashara, let me ask you this first. So, is your assessment based more so off of you're at an age now where you value your privacy more? Is that pretty much where your assessment is coming from?
A little bit, yeah. I think, I would say that, yeah, because I'm like, don't get me wrong. Again, if there's a situation and we have to, it's not that it's gonna kill me. It's not gonna kill me. You know what I mean? I'll do it because you just never know. I don't have an issue with it. My preference is to have my own space, and I think because it is a little bit about privacy. You know what I mean? Like I just want to be free. To do what I want to do when I'm in my room.
Right. Absolutely. Myself. So, for example, when we went down to Carousel, I think we had the one villa, but we had do we have our own space? You did have our own space.
We all had our own room. Yeah.
Right. Now, all right. So okay. So to answer your question, I understand what you're saying about the privacy. I'm not me personally. if we go somewhere, I don't have to be in the same room with my homies. We can share the one villa, but I don't have to be in the same room.
Right.
What I'm saying is, I think what Jamie was saying about catching up, I think we can do that and still have our own private space, right? I don't have to be elbow to elbow, or like, you know, when we took the trips in college and even after college, I'm at the foot, you at the head, somebody on the dresser, somebody. I don't have to have that now. I think I'm at a point in my life now where, you know, I'm like a shower. I've worked. Shit, I work my ass off. So if I do go somewhere, even if I'm with the homies, I do want some sort of privacy, right? We can all be under the same roof, but let's section this thing off to the point to where we can have some privacy. And on the flip side of that too, I've never been the kind of man that where I can't break away from my homies. That's just never been me.
Right.
So what I'm saying, it can go either way to me. Either way, I mean, shit, I'm a HBCU here. I'll sleep on the floor if I have to. You know how that goes. But right. I don't have to be under somebody. I just never been that way. But I don't mind splitting calls. So we put it this way: if we can be under the same roof, but we all have our individual privacy, I'm cool with that. But I don't think I'm trying to stay in the same room with my homies, unless it's a situation, you know, it's some unorthodox situation. Other than that, nah, let me get my own, and we can connect, you know, while we're there. Or that night, we can all be in the same, you know, living, whatever space or something. Then,
but to me, I mean, that's different what you're saying too. Like I think we're talking when Kashar get example hotel, but I think, like I said, if we were, like you said, getting like an Airbnb or, you know what I'm saying, or some kind of like beach house or cabin or something like that,
right?
I'm cool. That's the ideal situation, in my opinion. When right. Stuff too, and then, like I said, you know, we all have our own individual rooms, so right. you know, we can do that. So in that case, it is that. But now, if we're talking about that, let me ask you, how do you decide who gets what room when you're in that situation, in regards of like an Airbnb or you know, a beach house or whatever?
You mean like the mass?
Yeah. Because think of mine, you splitting costs. Now you got this house,
right?
Or this whatever, you know, people together in one roof.
Whoever put the card, whoever put the name on the card.
Right, or whoever initiate the research. Listen, this is how I am. As long as right, or as long as they are equatable. I mean, you can have a flat screen. I don't have to have it, but as long as my room is decent size and I'm getting my money's worth, I don't have a problem. Because first of all, if I'm traveling with you, obviously I don't travel with everybody because everybody's travel personality is not the same. So if I'm traveling with you, I trust you enough to say it's equitable, right? Everybody's gonna be some way, somehow equitable. So that's the part I don't even worry about, and I shouldn't have to worry about that. So, but in terms of like space and room and stuff like that, I think that is important because no one wants to feel slighted. No one wants to feel like shit. I'm paying just as much as you paying. Why I got a pull-out couch and you in the master suite?
Right.
But I trust whoever makes those reservations. I trust that they have a more. Yeah, and they have a moral compass, and they're like, okay, you know, whatever. Everybody needs to be equally comfortable. So, but I don't have a problem voicing that either. If it's fucked up, I'm like, yo, nah, this ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work. Nah, man. Or you sleep in here one night, I sleep in here, whatever.
I'm like, well, look, you get tonight, and I get tomorrow, though.
Yeah, man.
Can't do it, dog.
So, Jamie, for that situation, you saying, baby, whoever put the credit card
down.
Whoever
put their money down on there because your name is on there.
That's what
you get the first dibs, but I'm pretty sure you didn't get just a 2-bedroom. Probably got a 3. And then I pull out. Nah, bro, I'm gonna need to be on the big room.
Absolutely.
Y'all figure out the rest.
Right.
Rock, paper, scissors, that thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, fellas.
My bad.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. What I was about to say, I think that I think it matters with, you know, like who kind of like did the work and put the money down, whatever and stuff. Probably should get the first dibs in the room. Like you said, but I also think that if you're doing it, make sure everybody they got their own space if that's what everybody want, of course. Like or you're in a situation where, you know, like say we celebrating Jamie or, you know, your birthday or something like that, and we kind of running it. Then of course you the honoree in that situation, so you should have the best room. You know what I'm saying?
It's situational. I agree with
that. But like I said, if it was normal, I'm gonna book this and that, and then that person who's doing like the booking and putting the money down, I agree, should have first dibs, and you know, long as everybody else spaces, you know, it's a decent space, and like you said, nobody like sleeping, in the kitchen. Then we should be good.
But Jamie,
Right.
hold on. So get back to what you were saying earlier. I know you were saying like, most of the time is you and Phil. Do you have a cap though of how many people you gonna share a room with? Is there a cap?
If the
Or is
room is
like,
2.
so you do have a cap.
2.
So there ain't no more than 2 going in there.
Nah, no more than 2. No. Now, if chick hit the fan and say Jew comes in town, well, he gonna get on the floor. But mostly it's some shit where, like for Conclave, it was 3 of us. We just had to make it work because there was a lack of rooms in Charlotte.
Situational, yeah.
It was very situational. Like, we just got to make it work, and you can't kick your LB out. Hell, you celebrating Conclave.
Yeah, that makes sense for. That's a good example.
And that's where I got it from. Was like, well, no, at Conclave, I would prefer to be with Phil instead of being by myself at Clave. It's like too much shit is going on for us to not be together to see the same shit, so I can have a witness. Look at this crazy shit. Look at this motherfucker over here. This is wild. Versus me going into my room and then like, well, that did happen, and dog wasn't here. He was
going to my quarters.
He wasn't in my quarters. Damn it, you missed it. So now I ain't got nobody to tell the story to, and I got to call him. Dog, did you missed it? Where was you at? In the room.
Watching Netflix.
I'm in the streets looking at this crazy shit. It was a full-blown party in the streets with one guy with a motorcycle had loud ass speakers and shit. So we went to the room and talked about how crazy that shit was. It was like, this is wild. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Bad man.
All right, y'all. So this was actually dope too. This was good. This is a way that we can definitely good way to come back. So the dose of dopeness for this week. This is good stuff right here. So it goes out to Dr. Sakesha Caston, who is the author of the children's book, Mommy Loves My Little 10 Toes. Dr. Sakesha is an alumnus, did I say that right?
Yep.
Of NCCU. She's also an AKA. Which chapter is that, Jamie? Alpha Chi? Alpha Chi. Yeah. And she is also an eye doctor, by the way. Optometrist. She's an optometrist, absolutely. And this book can be purchased. And I will have the link on the website too, but let me just say the link quickly. Let me get my stuff out of y'all. All right, so the book can be purchased at mommylovesmylittletoes.com/order-now. Again, that's mommylovemylittletoes.com/order-now. And the link will be on the in the description on this episode too. But anyway, it's a good book. Mommy Loves My Little Toes. It's a children's book, and I think that you would enjoy it, especially first grade teachers, early ed teachers, and things like that. Or if you just have little kids, I think it'd be dope. So that's the dose of dopeness for this week.
Gosh, awesome. Make sure I get my copy, yo.
Absolutely, I got you.
We're still waiting on that.
I got you. It's coming.
All right. Well, guys, this was a great show. Great way to come back. Got our juices flowing again. So hopefully our quattros feel the same way. And so we just want to thank all our listeners and viewers for continuing to ride with us. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at 4x Dope Podcast. And if you also want to send us some comments, you can email us at 4timesdopepodcast@gmail.com. Also, please don't forget about our merchandise that we have, our 4x Dope t-shirts. You can find those at subject to change at www.shopS2c.com. And also, if you're looking for sponsorship as well, we're still taking those ads for those who are interested. You can just email us or DM us, however you want to do that. And until next time, we out.